Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are doing Edexcel Higher Tier Maths paper part 2. It's part 2, part 1 I have already completed. You can access on YouTube. So let me start this paper. Question 12 says the number of insects in a population at the start of the year n is Pn. The number of the insects in the population at the start of the year n plus 1 is Pn plus 1, where Pn plus 1 is equals to Kpn. Given k has a constant value of 1.13. Find out how many years it takes for the number of insects in the population to double. This is given. That means n represents the n years. As they have already mentioned, the constant value of k is 1.13. So I can say this is Pn plus 1 is equals to 1.13 Pn. Now what's mentioned here is the number of insects in population at start of n year is Pn. That's the at the beginning of it is Pn. And number of insects in population at the start of n plus 1 year is Pn plus 1. That's given. Whereas k has a constant value of 1.13, which represents that every year the population is increasing by 13%. Simple. See, y, if I say x is equals to 2y, that means x is twice of y. X is equals to 1.1y. It means x is 1.1 times of y. Or I can say that x is 100 plus 10 over 100 times of y. This is 1.1. So I can say it's happening what? It's actually increasing by 10%. So you can say that x is 10% more than y. I can say that as well. Similarly, I can say that every year the population is increasing by 30% because previously it was Pn plus 1. Now it is 1 point, sorry, now it's Pn plus 1 and previously it was Pn. So when it's Pn plus 1, it's 1.13 of Pn. That means it's more than 30% of Pn. That's the increment. If you have done compound ratios, compound interest, you would be know like why I have written 13% increment. So I can see that population is increasing by 13% every year. Now, it means we have to find when the population becomes finally double. Finally double is 1.13. I'm just applying direct formula of compound interest or depreciation or increment where it's P times 1 plus R over 100 whole to the power of n. That means P, let me say P be the initial amount of population as I don't know what it is exactly. Every year it's increasing by 13%. So in place of R, I'm writing 13 whole to the power of n as I don't know in how many times it will become twice. So cancelling P and P both sides, dividing both sides by P, you'll get this can be written as 1.13 whole to the power of n equals 2. So now if you solve this one, either you can use, well, either we can solve it with logarithm, but that's not in your syllabus obviously. So we'll do it with hit and trial. So what I'll do, I'll start with 1.13 whole to the power of 4. Then 1.13 whole to the power of 5, 1.13 whole to the power of 6. You can start from 1, 2, 3, 4 itself. Why I have started with 4? Because I have an enough idea that if I multiply 1.134 4 times, it would come out to be lesser than 2. That's why. So on solving 1.13 whole to the power of 6, I'll get it's 2.08. And below it, we were getting the value lesser than 1. So obviously it's going to be 6. So we can write answer as 6 years. It's going to be double. We're not going to take 5 because it will be lesser than 2 at that time. So once it will cross 2, that year we have to count, which is 6. The value of k actually increases year on year from its value 1.13 in year 1. Okay, that's already mentioned here. How does this affect your answer to part A? If it says the value of k actually increases year on year from its value of 1.13 in year 1, how does this affect your answer? It simply will take lesser than 6 years to double because it's increasing rapidly. So what will happen? It will take less than 6 years to double. Moving on to the next question. A and B are points on a centimeter grid. A is a point with coordinates -7, 6. B is the point with coordinates 8, -5. Work out the length of AB. Simply, it says that AB is a length. I'm just drawing it. If A is going to be, not precisely, I'm drawing it here. First, simply you can apply distance formula. Distance formula is a direct formula which is actually derived from the Pythagoras. So let me show you by both the ways actually, and they both are almost same. A is -7, 6 and B is 8, -5. Distance formula is root of x1 minus x2 whole squared plus y1 minus y2 whole squared. That's for universal, doesn't matter what 2 points you have. If you want to calculate the distance between them, always apply this formula. Let me take this one as x1, this one as y1, then this will be x2, y2. You can pick any one as x1 and x2. It will not going to change your answer. 8 minus -7. This is important. Pay attention to the signs. Y -5 minus 6 whole square. So 8 plus 7 is 15 whole squared plus minus 11 whole squared and root of it. So this is going to be root of 346 and root of 346 is 18.6. So you can say answer is 18.6. This is a one way. Second way, actually it's the same thing. But if you are not aware with the distance formula, apply Pythagoras because distance formula is same as Pythagoras. It is derived from Pythagoras actually. Suppose A is a point -7, 6. Obviously, it would be somewhere here, -7, 6. This is our grid. So, it would be here. Then, B is 8, 8 would be somewhere here and -5 would be here. And we have to calculate the distance between these two. So, if I draw a triangle, I know that distance, this is -7, 6 and 8, -5. Horizontally, how much unit is the distance between them? -7 to 8, you need to move 15 units. And vertically, from 6 to -5, you have to move downwards 11 units. Applying Pythagoras theorem, you'll get root of 15 squared plus 11 squared. And it will give you the same answer, 18.6. As I told you, distance formula is same. That is, it's derived from the Pythagoras theorem. Using algebra, prove that 1.062 recurring can be written as 114 over 225. See, let me say 1.62 recurring is equals to x. If 1.062 recurring is equals to x, then what we need to do, we have to multiply that number so that the point will come just before the recurring. And why we do so? So that we can eliminate the recurring part completely, and that's why we are doing it. So what number I have to multiply so that the point will come just before recurring, and that's 100. So I'll multiply x with 100, and if I multiply x with 100, I need to multiply this with 100 as well. So point will come out to be 1.106.2 recurring. Now this can be written as 106.2 recurring, that is 2, that's the meaning of recurring. So if I multiply one more time this with 10, this with 10, then I'll get 1062.2. So now I again have a recurring one after decimal. So 1062.2, and I have multiplied 10 to this side as well, 1000. Now if I subtract, I can easily subtract decimal. So this comes out to be negative 5956, and this comes out to be negative 900x, or x is equals to 956 over 900, which can be simplified as, this is 2 times 450, this is 478. Further, this will be 225, and this will be 239. Now if I convert it into mixed fraction, it will be 114 over 225, and that's our answer. We have proved it. Faiza is studying the population of rabbits in a park. She wants to estimate the number of rabbits in the park. On Monday, she catches a random sample of 20 rabbits in the park, marks each rabbit with a tag, and releases them back into the park. On Tuesday, she catches a random sample of 42 rabbits in the park. 12 of the rabbits are marked with a tag. Find an estimate number of rabbits in the park. Simple. There is a ratio given. That's why it's written as estimation. It's about the sampling actually. So on Monday, she catches the random set 20 rabbits. So suppose there are total number of X rabbits, and she caught 20 rabbits out of it. And next day, we are assuming that the ratio is same. She is catching the same number of, or same ratio of rabbits. Next day, she caught 12 marked, that is 12 tagged one out of 40. First day, so out of 40, 12 were tagged. On the first day, there were X rabbits, and she caught 20. Now next day, there are total 42 rabbits, and 12 were already marked. That's the ratio between them. So simple, x is equals to 42 into 20 over 12, which on simplification you'll get 10, 6, 7, that means 70. So the estimate is total number of rabbits are 70. LB is studying the population of rabbits in a wood. One day, he catches 55 rabbits and finds that 40 of these rabbits are marked with a tag. LB estimates there are 50 rabbits in the wood. Explain why LB's estimate cannot be correct. See, it's obvious thing, he caught 55 and he said that 50 rabbits are in the wood. So it's not possible. From where the 5 rabbits came then? So it's not possible, as he caught 55 rabbits and 55 is greater than 50. The shaded region shown on the grid is bounded by the 4 straight lines. Find the 4 inequalities that define the shaded region. So before I define the inequality, at least we should know the equation of these lines. This is definitely a line parallel to x-axis and passing through y. So its equation is y equals 6. For this one, y-intercept is 1 and x-intercept is 2. Directly you can calculate formula like this. X, what's intercept of x? It's 2. Plus what's the intercept of y? it's 1 equals 1. This is called intercept formula, intercept way of writing any straight line. So x over a plus y over b is equals to 1. A represents x-intercepts and b represent y-intercept. In this way, you can directly calculate the equation of line. On solving, I'll get x plus 2y equals 2, or 2y is equals to 2 minus x. So this is 2y is equals to 2 minus x. Next is now we have to see this line. You can clearly see this is a straight line parallel to y-axis and it's passing through x equals 3. So that means equation is x equals 3. Next is this line. If you see its x-intercept, it's negative 2 and y-intercept is 6. So same, x over negative 2 plus y over 6 equals 1. On simplifying, you'll get 3x minus y equals negative 6, or you can say, so y is equals to 6 plus 3x. This is going to be our equation. Then we have to write inequality. We have to see which one is greater or smaller. Shaded region is this. Obviously, to get the shaded region is down below. So y should be lesser than 6 or lesser than equals, because there is a solid line. That's why lesser than equals to 6. So inequality is y is lesser than equals 6. For second one, for this line, the shaded region is on left hand side. So definitely inequality will be on left hand side. Left hand side represents that y is greater than, it's a positive. So you can say y is greater than equals 6 plus 3x. Now for x equals 3, shaded region is on right hand side. Here right hand side all the values of x are positive, so obviously I'll write x is greater than equals negative 3. For the last one, equation is 2y equals 2 minus x and shaded region is above it. That means clearly this is going to be positive. So you can say 2y is greater than equals. So these are 4 inequalities. The diagram shown, it shows two similar solid triangular prism A and B. The volume of prism A is 58.806 centimeter cubed. Volume of prism B is 1587.762 centimeter cubed. The cross section of each prism is a right angled triangle. For prism B, the length of the base of triangle is 8.1 and area of the triangle is 43.74 centimeter cubed. The height of the triangle for prism A is h centimeter. Work out the value of h. See, what they have mentioned that these two are similar. Similar figures, that means when angles are same, they look exactly the same, only the lengths are in proportion. So that means lengths are in proportion. There is one more thing. If lengths are in proportion, that means L and over corresponding length is called length scale factor. Area over corresponding area, that means area of another similar figure, is equals to area scale factor and for volume over V dash, it's volume scale factor. Apart from it, there is a relationship. If let's say LR is length scale factor, then area scale factor is equals to LR squared and volume scale factor is LR cubed. Now coming back to this question, it says the cross section of each prism is right angled. The length of the base is given as 8.1 and the area of this triangle is 43.74. Besides, its volume is given. As I told you, if volume is given, you can calculate the length scale factor, because volume scale factor is equals to length scale factor whole cubed. And what is volume scale factor? It's V over V dash. So V over V dash is equals to LR whole cubed. Volume of the bigger one is 1587.762, smaller one is 58.806. This is equals to LR whole cubed. 27 equals LR cubed. Taking root to both the sides, LR comes out to be 3. They have given that area is equals to 8.43.74. So half times base, that is 8.1, and let's say its height be h dash. H dash is equals to 43.74. On solving, I'll get h dash as 10.8. So if this is 10.8, according to the length scale factor, it should be 1/3 of it, because length scale factor is 3. If this is shorter, that means obviously this is going to be 1/3. Or I would say that if this is h, so 3 times of h is 10.8. So 3 times h is equals to 10.8, and h is equals to 10.8 over 3, which is 3.6. So final answer is 3.6. Here is a triangle. Work out the area of the triangle. There is a direct formula of a triangle. Half times base times height is only for right angle triangle, but the actual formula is half times AB sine C. That means half times those two lengths and an included angle in between them. So this side into this side and an angle included between them. Then why the right angle has half times base times height? Because this is base, this is height. Same, half times two sides. So that means base, height and an included angle, which is 90. So sine 90. And we know sine 90 is 1. That's why it's half times base times height. So this is our actual formula, a universal formula for any triangle. 90, not 90, acute, obtuse. So applying this formula, I'll get half into 11.2 times 4.3 times sine 118. On solving it, you will get 21.261, and answer should be to 3 significant figures. So 21.3 would be the answer. Now solve 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. As I told you, solving means they are asking you to calculate the value of x. If I see this one, first let me try with factorization method. So 6 times 6 is minus 36 and 5. You have to think of two numbers. When you multiply will give you negative 6 and when added will give you 5. So possible factors are minus 9 comma 4, and since sum is positive, that means the greater number will be positive. So it can be 9, negative 4, 6, and negative 6 is not possible at all. Or you can say 3, 12. That's only possible ways. This is giving me the sum as 5. So I can say splitting the middle part. Don't write, this is the common mistake. Don't write, okay, x plus 9, x minus 4, and that's the final answer. No, it's not the final answer. Okay, that's a direct shortcut when the coefficient of x squared is 1. Here coefficient of x squared is not 1. So we need to do the conventional method, that is splitting the middle part. 6x squared, and this can be split into plus 9x minus 4x minus 6. Now making the pairs, this 2 and this 2. Taking out 3x as common, this will be 2x plus 3. And taking out minus 2 as common, this will be 2x plus 3. So I'll get another factor, 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3. If the product of two factors is 0, that means either of them is 0 or both can be 0. So 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. So x will be 2 over 3, or 2x plus 3 equals 0, it will be x is equals to minus 3 over 2. So answer will be x is equals to 2 over 3 or negative 3 over 2. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is a cuboid. AD is 9 centimeters. AD, that means this is given as 9 centimeters. FD is 13 centimeters. So FD is 13 centimeters. An angle GHF. GHF, that means this angle they are saying, that's given as 49 degrees. Work out the size of angle FAH. FAH, that means this angle. This you have to find. Let me say this be x. So first thing is, such questions we have to go in reverse order. Reverse order, that means if I want to calculate this angle, I need this triangle. That means this is a right triangle, but at least I should know the two sides. So clearly I can calculate AF. How can I calculate AF? Let me see this triangle. A, F and D. So I'm writing in triangle AFD. This is a right triangle, definitely. So I can say that AD is 9 centimeter and FD is 13. So applying Pythagoras, I'll get AF is equals to root of AD FD squared minus AD squared. So FD is 13 squared minus AD is 9 centimeters. So this will give us AF. I'm leaving it as it is now. Next is, okay, we are done with calculation of this one. Then in this red triangle that I have drawn at the beginning, this triangle, I need one more side. Either AH will work or FH will work. I think FH is more simpler to find because we already have this one, GH and an angle between them. So let me see this triangle. In this triangle, this angle we have 49, GH, which is parallel to 9 centimeters. Clearly, if AD is 9 centimeter, F is going to be 9 centimeter as well, and GH is going to be 9 centimeter as well. So now in triangle GHF, GH is 9 centimeters, angle GHF is 49 degrees. I want to calculate FH. So simple, I need to apply cos. So cos of 49 is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos 49 is equals to adjacent is 9 over hypotenuse is FH. From here FH is 9 over cos 49, which is 13.71. Once we have FH, now coming to the third triangle, which is the initial one, the starting one, in triangle AFH. We want to calculate X. So what we have AF, which is we have calculated root 13 squared minus 9 squared, and we have FH, which is 13.71. So to calculate this triangle, simply I can apply 10x, because 10x is what? X is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is FH and adjacent is AF. FH is 13.7 and AF is root 13 squared minus 9. 10x, and then taking the inverse of it. So x will be 10 inverse of 13.71 over root 13 squared minus 9 squared, which ultimately gives you answer as 55.63. So the nearest degree is going to be 56. Graph below gives the volume in liters of water in a container t seconds after the water starts to fill the container. Calculate an estimate for the gradient of the graph when t is equals to 17.5. You must show your answer, like you're working how you got the answer. You have to calculate an estimate for the gradient of graph when t is equals to 17.5. 17.5, that means it would lie between 15 to 20. Each square represents 1 unit. So it's going to be 17.5 will be here. This is 5. The gap is 5. That means each will represent 0.5. So 0.5, that means this is going to be 16. This is 17. 17.5 would be here. That means here. T is 17.5. To calculate the gradient at a particular point, you have to draw a tangent. It's not that perfect, but it's fine. Then what we have to do, we just need to calculate two different points. Let me take this point and let me take this point. This point is approximately 22, 15, and this point is approximately 12 and 5. You can pick any 2 points, but these two seems to be very perfect to me. Or we can pick this point as well. This is here 10 and this is 17.5. We can pick this one as well. So but again I would saying that this is decimal. That's the reason I have selected these two integer values. So this will be 12, 5. Now gradient is change in y over change in x. That's gradient. Y 15 minus 5 over change in x is 22 minus 12. That is 10 over 10 will give you 1. So gradient is 1. Next is describe fully what the gradient in part A represents. What the gradient represents? Gradient is what? Change in y over change in x. What's the value on y-axis? Volume. Volume over what is on x-axis? Time. So volume over time, that means it tells you about change in volume per second. So that means change in volume or rate of change of volume. Change of volume. Fx is equals to cube root of x. Gx is equals to 2x plus 3. Hx is equals to fgx. Calculate h inverse x. First, let me calculate hx, which is f of gx. F of gx, that means in function of fx, root x cube, I need to replace it with gx. See, if fx is equals to x squared, if I ask you to calculate f1, then definitely you will substitute the value of x as 1. f2 will be substituting x as 2. Similarly, f of gx is what? Substituting the value of gx in x. So gx whole squared. This is an example. Similarly here, what I am doing, f of gx, that means I need to substitute gx in fx. Fx is cube root of x. So I'll substitute gx there, cube root of gx. That is f of gx. But my answer should be in terms of x. So now replace gx with 2x plus 3. The value of gx is 2x plus 3. So I'll write 2x plus 3. This is f of gx or hx. Cube root of 2x plus 3. Now the next is we have to calculate h inverse x. To calculate h inverse x, I need to make x the subject. That's the way. If you're not able to process it, if you're not aware how to calculate inverse function, composite function, I have made a video on YouTube. You can refer that. It will help you. Now squaring both the sides. So first thing is to calculate the inverse. Let me replace hx with y. And this is cube root of 2x plus 3, and now I need to make x the subject. For that, cubing both the sides, I'll get y cubed is equals to 2x plus 3. Moving 3 to the left hand side. So y cube minus 3 equals 2x. Divide both the sides by 2. Y cube minus 3 over 2 is equals to x. At the end, replace x with h inverse x and y with x. This is your final answer. So h inverse x is x cubed minus 3 over 2. Answer is x cubed minus 3 over 2. A race is measured to have a distance of 10.6 correct to nearest 0.1 kilometers. Sam runs the race in a time of 31 minutes 48 seconds correct to the nearest second. Sam's average speed in this race is v kilometer per hour. By considering bounds, calculate the value of v to a suitable degree of accuracy. You must show all your working and give a reason for your answer. First thing, it says the race is measured to have a distance of 10.6 kilometers, correct to nearest 0.1 kilometer. And time is 31:48 seconds, correct to nearest second. And you have to calculate average speed. So we know average speed is distance over time. If you want to calculate upper bound for the speed, so upper bound for speed, that means you have to calculate upper bound of distance over lower bound. Don't divide with the upper bound of time, because higher value divided by higher value will not give you higher value. If upper is higher and below is lower, then you will get a higher value. If you want to calculate upper bound for speed, upper bound of anything which is a product or which is an outcome of division of two numbers, so numerator should be greater but denominator should be smaller. So it will be lower bound of time. So 10.6 and it's closest to or nearest to 0.1 kilometer. That means you need to add 0.05. 10.6 plus 0.05. That is 10.65 will be the upper bound of distance. 10.65 over lower bound of time. This is nearest second. So convert complete time into seconds. So it's going to be 31 minutes 48 seconds. Either you can convert this into complete seconds or convert them into minutes. Either way it will work. But if it say the nearest second, so you can directly calculate that lower bound will come out to be 31 minutes 47 seconds and higher will be 31 minute 49 seconds. So you will divide 31 minute 47 seconds, but convert them completely. It should be v kilometers per hour. This is in kilometer, but this is not in hours. So let me convert this into hours. First, we can convert them into seconds. So 31 into 60 plus 47. This will give you the answer in seconds. And then we need to divide it with 3600, because to convert seconds into hours, you have to divide it by 3600. And this will come out to be 0.529. So 10.65 over 0.529. Answer is 20.099. So this will be the upper bound of speed. It says by considering bounds, calculate the value of v to a suitable degree of accuracy. That means we have to calculate both upper bound as well as lower bound. Now let me calculate the lower bound of this speed. For lower bound, numerator should be exactly what we want. That means if lower, so numerator should be lower. So lower bound of distance over. Denominator should be opposite. So upper bound of time. So lower distance will be 10.6 minus 0.05, which will be 10.55. So it's 10.55 over. It will be, upper bound of time will be 31 minute 49 seconds. So 31 minute 49 seconds. Converting them into hours exactly like this, I'll get 10.55 over 0.530, which is 19.90. This is the answer for both. So if you see, you have to find the suitable value. That means now we need to combine the upper bound and lower bound. Upper bound comes out to be this 20.099. Lower bound comes out to be 19.90. That means clearly up to, you can say, two significant figure. Answer is 20 kilometer per hour. Answer is 20. A circle has equation x squared plus y squared is equals to 12.25. The point P lies on the circle. The coordinates of P are 2.1, 2.8. The line L is the tangent to the circle at point P. Find an equation of L and give your answer in the form of ax plus by equals c. See, the circle, the standard equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared. R represents radius. So let me draw the circle. This is a circle and it has a center here, O. It says the point P lies on the circle. Let's say point P is lying here and it's 2.1, 2.8. Line L is the tangent to the point P. So now I need to draw a line which is tangent to this one, which would be like this somehow. Then tangent touches at one point. This is not very perfect figure. And this tangent is at point 2.1 and 2.8. Next thing is the line L is the tangent to the circle point P. Find an equation to calculate the equation of this. This is equals to y is equals to mx plus c, and I should know the gradient. To calculate gradient, I have one thing, that is this one, radius. There is a circle theorem which says that the angle between the radius and the tangent of the circle is always 90 degrees. These two 90 degrees, that means the radius OP and tangent P are perpendicular to each other. Are perpendicular by circle theorem. And you have to write that circle theorem. That means the angle between the radius and the tangent is always 90 degrees. That proves that these two lines are perpendicular. If these two lines are perpendicular, that means gradient of OP multiplied by gradient of tangent L is equals to -1. If two lines are perpendicular, then their gradient, the multiplication of their gradient is always -1. So gradient of OP. Definitely this is standard equation of a circle which represents that the origin or the center is origin 0, 0 and this point is 2.1, 2.8. So gradient of OP will be change in y over change in x equals gradient. Change in y is 2.8 minus 0 and change in x is equals to 2.1 minus 0, which is 2.8 over 2.1, which then can be simplified to 4 over 3. So now applying this one, same. Gradient of OP is 4 over 3 and gradient of tangent is, let me say, m equals -1. So gradient is -3 over 4. So substituting the value of m here, y is equals to -3 over 4x plus c. Only the value of c is remaining and we know that the point P lies on the tangent as well. So this point satisfied it, which means I can replace y with 2.8 and I can replace x with 2.1 to get the value of c. On solving, I can say this is 28 over 10 equals -3 into 21 over 40 plus c. From here, C comes out to be 35 over 8. If C is 35 over 8, simple. Your final equation is y is equals to negative 3 over 4x plus 35 over 8. Either you can further simplify it or leave your answer in that, but you can clearly see it says give your answer in the form of ax plus by equals c. That means you need to take the LCM, which is y is equals to negative 6x plus 35 over 8 or 8y plus 6x equals 35. This is our final answer. So basically that was the last question of this paper. You need to revise. If you find any difficulty in any question, you can go through that question 2-3 times. You can repeat this video 2-3 times to understand that concept. And if you want to know from the base, you can refer the ESAEY Academy's YouTube channel, and it will help you in understanding every concept. So that's it for today. Thank you and have a great day. That's it for today. If you want to book one-on-one live classes or batch classes for any class from year 1 to year 13, you can email us at exaiacademy@gmail.com. So, and if you want to access the free worksheets, just go to ESAEY app. The link is already in the description box. You can access the free worksheets, you can practice, and the solutions are given on YouTube itself. I have uploaded them. So that's it. Thank you. Have a great day.